we're Richard and Aurora. Sort of a travel couple, when we can afford to be. We're from the UK, and to be frank, we hate it. We are in the process of planning a 2-year work and holiday visa to New Zealand. So this video is just basically a little introduction of us and also what that visa is, so that if you're in the same boat and planning a similar trip, you can follow along, get some help, get some advice, and mostly just learn from our mistakes pretty much. Flashback. Whoosh. So we first met in 2018 in university, found out that he had a dog, and basically the rest was history. Richard was already pretty well travelled, having gone to some amazing places with his family, and I had just spent a few summers working abroad and wanted to do a little bit more exploring. So a big part of our relationship has been adventures. Early on they were just tiny local ones, but once I learnt to drive, the world opened up a little more for some mini adventures. A few years and lockdowns later,
coronavirus has spread, the world is ending.
Right. We finally took the leap, also known as a plane, and began to travel further afield. We had discussed big adventures, you know, a month-long trip around Italy or going to countries further than either of us had ever been, but we never put any actual plans in place, and with money and work it just never worked out. So we haven't gotten to travel nearly as much as I'd hoped in our 6 years together. But we are about to embark on our biggest adventure yet. It's a little hint back there for you, and also in the title, and I've already said it. So it is November 2025, and after being mentally and physically exhausted from our jobs, working non-stop in soul-sucking industries, a less and less stable world with governments that are trying to kill us, we're done. We want to get the fuck out. So spending thousands of pounds on a holiday for maybe a week, twice a year, just isn't really our deal anymore. I'd researched working holidays and other sort of options for working and living abroad, but still getting to live like a local. Even if we live in a really small gross flat, if we have jobs that we hate and we still make no money, at the very least, we won't be here. So we had a nose at what places UK citizens can go to do a working holiday visa, and we landed on New Zealand. The other options would have been, let's see if I can do this, Australia, Canada, Japan, Singapore, Taiwan, Hong Kong, South Korea, and the US with a question mark. Now, I don't know the specifics of all of these visas and what the requirements are. Those are just the options as a British citizen, just say that 5 times fast, that you can go to do some kind of working holiday visa. For example, with the US, I'm not entirely sure that they work the same as some of these other ones. I know that there are other types of visas that allow you to go and do specific work. For example, I went and did a couple summers working as a camp counsellor, but that was its own separate visa for that. New Zealand would not actually have been my first choice, but it's really, really close. I've been unhealthily obsessed with Australia for a long time. I didn't realise just how much Australian content I absorbed as a child, and honestly I still do even now. A lot of the content that I watch always just kind of happens to be Australian creators. It's weird. The idea of moving to Australia has been kind of embedded in my subconscious from a very young age. So even just the possibility of visiting for even a short amount of time is magical. And as someone who is literally a plant and needs sparkly water, sunshine and warmth, I think I would thrive there. However, there is a slight problem. That problem is not with me today. Richard cannot be outside for too long or else he may die. Now, he also just happens to be a bit of a nerd. A very cute nerd. But he is unhealthily obsessed with Lord of the Rings. And of course, anyone who's ever had a glimpse of the Shire, I think we can all agree that that's the kind of lifestyle we all want to live. So, New Zealand. Perfect compromise. No sun damage for Richard, he's safe from the UV. I am as close to Australia as I can physically get without being there. And hobbits. Everybody wins. So for the last year, maybe year and a half, we have been working hard and saving up and trying to plan and prep and get ready to actually do this for real. It's very exciting. Now, if you've clicked on this video, you may be asking, what even is a working holiday visa? Well, I'm gonna tell you, but I need my script because I don't want to mess this up. So New Zealand has these agreements with loads of different countries where people can come and stay that are aged 18 to 35 for either a year or longer. I know with the UK there are also options to extend your stay, so if you're only doing 1 year and you get out there and you realise, I want to stay longer, because why wouldn't you? You can actually extend for another chunk of time. Like a lot of other temporary work visas, it kind of is aimed at the younger generation, you know, those that are finishing uni or taking a gap year, or I think just people that may not have a big pocket of funds ready to just go and spend a year or two traveling. Now, the key thing about a working holiday visa is that your main reason for visiting should be tourism. You're not actually coming here to specifically work for the whole time, but your main thing is supposed to be you're here to visit, and then on the side you can also make a bit of money to fund your travels. And if you are looking at studying rather than working, that is a possibility as well. On a working holiday visa, you can study 1 or more courses for up to 6 months in New Zealand. You cannot ever accept a permanent job position because that would completely go against what the visa is. The visa is obviously specifically for a set amount of time that you choose, so to select something permanent, big no-no. You still have to pay tax on all your income. Not sure how the specifics of that work. Now, because of those two things, probably not going to be rolling in it when we're there, to be quite honest. So we basically have the goal of saving as much money as possible so that we did have a little pot that we could dip into and just make the most of it without having to kind of scrounge and work the whole time. We want to do some exploring, we want to go on a little holiday first, we want to get a van, you know, just enjoy it for a bit. So for a UK citizen to do a working holiday in New Zealand, you need at least 350 New Zealand dollars per month of stay. That equates to about £150 a month, which is pretty good. And if you were to do a year, then you'd need, I believe, around £1,800, which is not too shabby. If you are going, yeah, this sounds great, I want to do a working holiday in New Zealand, the very first thing that you need to do is to check that your country is eligible to do that, because it's going to be a bit of a bummer if you can't. If you are not from the UK but you're wanting to do a New Zealand working holiday visa, there are a few different conditions that could change specific to your country. So those are all things that you need to specifically look into your country for and just double check that that is all good. Don't take everything I say with a pinch of salt unless you're from the UK looking to do a New Zealand working holiday visa, basically. Next, you're gonna need a valid passport. Somehow mine and Richard's both ran out this year, even though I only renewed mine like a year ago in 2015, but whatever. We renewed our passports online, which was the cheapest option, and in May 2025, when we did this, that cost £96. It is then more to do it by post or in person, so doing it online I would recommend. It was super quick and easy and obviously a little bit cheaper. We also of course needed new photos, which we got from a booth in town. They actually cost £10, but what was cool was it gave you the printout of the hideous photos, we won't look at those, but on it had a link and a code, and so basically when you do the online application you just type that code in and it just automatically uploads the photo from the photo booth to your application, send it off, done. So the whole process cost over £100 just to renew our passports, but really easy, really quick, obviously very important whether you're doing a working holiday visa or not. I will be doing videos in the future on the actual whole budget of this and how much the entire process will cost generally, so if that's something you're interested in, subscribe, make sure you check out that video when it's out. So another requirement that will differ country to country is your financial status. Now, you will most likely need to prove that you have a certain amount of money in your bank account. I think that's purely just to show that you're not going to be coming here looking to work permanently and need to make money. It's just to show that you can kind of afford to live without having to work for a bit. Now, these numbers are written on their website as living expenses, so I don't know if you would also need proof of flight home money on top of that. I'm not entirely sure, but this is why we've kind of gone, let's just make the max that we can make and have a very comfortable number before we go. The medical requirements, because that is another thing that comes up. New Zealand being an island with really, really important biodiversity, they're really picky about who and what is coming into the country, and they want to make sure that the people that are coming in are like healthy and not bringing certain diseases with them. So again, I think that's why there are restrictions on why some countries can't enter if there's higher risk in certain areas of different diseases. So I will be doing a whole video on what the medical requirements are, what the medical exam and appointment is actually like. We've got ours booked, we're going to be going pretty soon and I'm terrified, but we will be documenting all of that for you, as well as kind of breaking down how to even just get the appointment, how to work out where to go, because honestly, logistical nightmare. Just wait for that video, it sucks. But if you're in the same process, whether you're only just sort of starting to think about a working holiday visa, or if you're at the similar stage of us where, you know, you're starting to do the application, starting to get the medical thing, those videos are going to be super, super helpful. Make sure that you subscribe. I don't know where the subscribe button is anymore, it could be anywhere. But I'm going to have so much in-depth information that I would have really enjoyed just having in a really easy format rather than having to do months and months of research. That's pretty much everything, the basics at least, of a working holiday visa in New Zealand. So now what you need to do next is step 1, decide whether you want to and whether you can join and do a working holiday visa with us. Step 2, get your passport sorted if you haven't already. Step 3, make sure you've got the correct amount of money and other requirements needed to actually apply. And then finally, we're at the point where you can start applying and you can start actually doing the process, the exciting bit where it gets real. It gets real, guys, it's really scary. I will be doing a full step-by-step screen recording of the entire application process, just to show kind of what things you might need to know, what you might need to have with you, any surprises along the way, just because I'm terrified of it. And I think having somebody walk through the process, it would be really nice. So hopefully this video is going to get you excited about doing your own working holiday visa. Hopefully it's given you enough information that you kind of get an idea of what is required, what you might have to do, what you might have to get ready. And yeah, I will see you in the next video, where I will share with you everything that has gone wrong. Bye everybody!